Hello everyone, thanks for coming to my channel. For all those that have subscribed, thank you very much. We do appreciate you. For those that are yet to do that, please do subscribe, press the notification bell so you can get all our latest news. Thank you. Reps seek diplomatic resolution of US ban on Nigeria. The leadership of the House of Representatives is expected to interface with relevant government agencies and diplomatic missions with a view to adopt a diplomatic resolution on the controversy that led to the travel ban imposed on Nigeria by the US government. The resolution was passed sequel to the adoption of the motion of urgent national importance on the need to unravel circumstances that led to immigration restrictions by the United States of America and seek quick resolution and prevent future occurrences, sponsored by Honorable Yusuf Tajuddin. To this end, the House urged President Muhammadu Buhari's cabinet to expedite necessary action that may lead to the review or cancellation of the immigration restrictions. While venting their views on the reasons adduced to the travel restriction on Nigeria, Honorable Sergis Ogun, PDP Edo, stressed the need to sanction the agency responsible for the non-compliance with the established identity management and information sharing criteria accessed by performance metrics. He also harped on the need for the government to provide necessary health infrastructure that will improve the health sector in the bid to reduce capital flight spent on medical tourism. On his part, Honorable Dashun Bagos described the travel ban as a national embarrassment. Worried by the development, Honorable Tajuddin, who led the debate on the motion, harped on the need to take proactive steps towards that may lead to the review or cancellation of the immigration restrictions. According to him, the House is aware that the United States of America on January 2020, as a direct consequence of non-compliance with the established identity management and information sharing criteria accessed by performance metrics, placed immigration restrictions on Nigeria and four other countries: Tanzania, Sudan, Eritrea, Myanmar, and Kyrgyzstan. The House is also aware that the immigration restriction on Nigeria and these countries, which is a further fallout of alleged non-adequate data sharing on public safety and tourism-related information necessary for protection, is expected to take effect on 21st February 2020. Due to the tardiness of some government agency and officials, Nigeria was unable to meet the deadline for performance metrics, identify management and information sharing criteria, which has led to the unfortunate immigration restriction placed by the United States on Nigeria. The House observed that while Nigeria, through relevant agencies and top officials, was not able to meet the criteria, some developing nations like Chad and Belarus did the needful and were exempted from the immigration restrictions. This is worried that the immigration restrictions order on Nigeria, aside having far-reaching multiplier effect on the politics, economic, and governance, attracts serious global embarrassment to our dear country. The House is disturbed that the immigration restrictions will impact negatively and have grievous repercussions on well-meaning Nigerians who have legitimate personal vacation, career, business, and academic transaction in the USA. The House is alarmed that if the restriction order is not reversed, it may lead to more strident diplomatic measures not only by the USA but some other developed nations, which may have serious consequences on government initiatives geared towards national growth and development, he said. So Nigerians, my people, this is still the situation at the moment. President Donald Trump and his cabinet has passed a travel restriction on Nigerians, and now it's brought to our notice that it is the failure of our agency to do the necessary, to take the necessary steps to make sure that our nation, Nigeria, is not put in these travel restrictions. And it is mentioned here that Belarus and another country was able to do the necessary. Well, these things are usually, there are key performance indicators that shows what Nigerians are, the level of Nigerian security and all that system. And we have an agency in this country that does all that, because all these things, and the US does not come into Nigeria to look, but they have a performance matrix that they look to say, okay, this country is well enough to come into our country. But our own agency, because of the lapses and so many things that happens in Nigeria, they can't even be bothered, you can't be bothered. So they know that these metrics are going to be examined, are going to be taken soon. They didn't do anything. A country like Chad and Belarus were able quickly, before that was said, before that was, when that was going around, was speculated, they had to check if they meet the criteria. How is it on earth that Nigeria didn't meet the criteria? What are the agencies doing? The agencies that's in charge of this, that they know that maybe, say, yearly they had to take the performance matrix, identity matrix, and they know information sharing. They know that this is going to be looked at, but they never did anything. Lapses in even the agencies, and Nigeria paid them a lot to have these agencies to make sure that our identities, our information management, and all that are in place. You see, so this is the lapses in Nigeria. These are the things that we are always shouting about. We're always talking about. So the international community can see us as an up and doing nation. But now you can imagine Belarus and Chad, when this was speculating around the world, they took necessary measures to make sure that they are not they don't impose a travel ban on them. And which indeed, when Mr. Trump passed the bill, they weren't there. You see, but for us, we Nigerians, we always like, even the government, they always like to be reactive instead of being proactive. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari is setting up a committee that will look into that. Why are we always reactive in Nigeria? Why can we not be proactive? If we were proactive, see, Belarus and Chad, they were proactive. When they heard it, when it was a mere speculation, they heard it and said no. I mean, this is a national disgrace. Like I said in my previous news, if this is not looked into, if this is not taken care of, tomorrow you will see another country, another developed country, imposing a ban on Nigeria not to come into their country. So why are we should learn. The government was speaking out. We should learn to be proactive in our dealings with the countries of the world, instead of being reactive. Now it's already been pronounced. It's been passed. How do you then think now that we'll do the necessary thing and will be exempted from it? They've already passed it. It takes effect from the 22nd. It's already there. So you see, these are the things that we, even as a media outlet, we are crying out, we are speaking out. That all Nigerians should know all these things that are happening in the country. Because most of us as Nigerians will be wondering, how is it that we're put in the travel ban? What are the criteria that they use to judge that? The only thing that we can say, insecurity in the country and all that, but there are other parameters. There are other things. There are other informations. And we have the information we have these agencies that looks after those things. How is it that our country's one is not up to date and up to standard, that they have to put us on to impose a ban on Nigeria? It's absurd. It's absurd, to be honest. It's absurd. We are calling out, we are crying out, we are speaking out to President Muhammadu Buhari and his administration. Please, we have to look into this as a matter of urgency. We need to look into this. Whatever committee you're setting up to look into this has to look into this, because it's a public disgrace. It's a national disgrace. It's a shame that the giant of Africa, a ban is being imposed on them not to travel to one of the greatest countries of the world. People, like he said here, that have genuine business transaction, medical stuff, a lot of things, with the United States. How are they going to be able to do that now? People that studied in the United States goes on vacation, legitimate personal businesses and all that, all transaction. How are we going to develop in the country at all? Once again, we as a media outlet, we are speaking out. We are letting all Nigerians know what is going on in the country. And we're speaking to President Muhammadu Buhari and your administration. We need to look into this. We need to look into the insecurity in Nigeria. We need to look into so many aspects, the health sector, so many aspects in Nigeria. We need to be open. It doesn't take nothing. It doesn't take too much effort to do the right thing. But it takes a lot of effort to start trying to repair the things. We need, as Nigerians, to be proactive than being reactive. And also, please, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe and click the notification bell, so whenever we read this news, you get it first hand.